It took a long time to get a result in yesterday's Brewers game. But in the end, a 5-4 nail-biter down to the finish. Josh Hader hits a milestone. The offense timely enough, and the defense shines in Cincinnati. Let's recap it on Locked On Brewers.
You are Locked On Brewers, your daily Milwaukee Brewers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Good morning, everybody. Thanks for making Locked On Brewers your first listen of the day. I'm Dominic Cotroneo. I'm the statistician for Bally Sports Wisconsin, talking about what was a fun, albeit very time-consuming, Game 2 in Cincinnati yesterday. And we're going to go through the biggest moments from this game. We're going to talk about some numbers from it, of course, and some great praise to be due to Josh Hader as well. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button wherever you're listening from, or if you're watching on YouTube, all the video versions of these podcasts are posted on YouTube, as well as our new In the Hopper series, new episode coming out this weekend, our statistical deep dive, using some analytics, using some easy to understand stuff, trying to bring it all into layman's terms for what the Brewers are looking for and what they have been doing so far in 2022. Our first two episodes have been about the dead baseballs and the expected slugging rate of the Brewers, and also on Trevor Gott. So can't wait to share what the next one is. So yesterday, Brewers win by a final of 5-4, and man, this was a weird game. Brewers actually did not score first in this game, mind you. It was the Reds with back-to-back doubles in the second inning that got on the board first against Freddy Peralta, but watching the first inning and how that unfolded against Hunter Greene, reminder, Hunter Greene is the guy that was pitching last Thursday against the Brewers and got shellacked against the offense as he gave up the 5 homers in that game. The fastball was just right down the middle, and the Brewers were not fooled at all. He looked like a different pitcher yesterday. He grew up before our eyes, and he's only 22 years old. He's going to be in this division for a long time. He's got a lot to learn. He's still got an over 7 ERA, but in yesterday's start, he goes 5 1/3, 4 hits, 2 runs. They were all earned, 4 walks, and 6 strikeouts. Now, those 4 walks happened in the first 12 batters of the game. So kudos to Hunter to locking down and not allowing much more. He does get the tough luck loss as we get into the actual recap of how the Brewers scored. They actually got the bases loaded in the first inning, but failed to push one across against Hunter Greene. He had some real control issues in the first with 3 walks in the frame, but ended up getting a strikeout of Tyrone Taylor to escape that without any damage. As we mentioned, the Reds scored first in the second, but the Brewers would get on the board in the 4th inning thanks to a Luis Urías solo home run, his second of the year, both of them coming off of Hunter Greene, and both of them coming on breaking balls. So he's way out in front of it, got it out of the yard in left field, doesn't matter, it's a tie game. We fast forward now to the 6th inning. Starters are still in the game. Hunter Greene is still on the mound for the Reds in the top of the 6th inning. And it starts off with a 1-out single by Tyrone Taylor on a ground ball to the right side. It actually was deflected off of Hunter Greene. He was removed from the game, not because of injury, but because of his pitch count. He was at 98 pitches. So they decided to lift him there in the 6th inning. So a runner on first, 1 out. Tony Santillan comes in. And Jace Peterson had himself a day. He gets a double. It scores Tyrone Taylor. Brewers take a 2-1 lead. Then Lorenzo Cain is hit by a pitch. Victor Caratini walks to load the bases. So Santillan clearly didn't have it. They go to Lucas Sims, and Colton Wong does his job, elevating, get a sacrifice fly, and the Brewers now lead by a score of 3-1. Freddie Peralta, he got into the 6th inning. He was lifted for Brent Suter. Suter got the job done against the lefty Colin Moran, but Freddie gets his second one of the year, both against the Reds. 5 2/3, 4 hits, 1 run that was earned, just 1 walk, and a new season high 8 strikeouts for Freddie. Going to dive into the numbers on him in just a little bit later. Continuing with the recap in this one. So it's 3-1 Brewers through 6, and also that through 7. Brewers add on 2 more runs in the top of the 8th inning, and these turn out to be obviously the difference of the game. A 1-out double again by Jace Peterson, a 2-hit day for him, also a 2-hit day for Lorenzo Cain. It puts runners on second and third. Victor Caratini lines a single up the middle. That scored Peterson. So now you got runners on first and second with 1 out. Wong ends up grounding into a force out, beating out a potential double play. So you got runners on the corners with 2 outs. Wong steals second base during the at-bat with Willy Adames. And then Willie hits an infield single on an oddly placed Brandon Drury over at third. He was playing extremely deep. Gets an infield single out of it. It scores Kane. So the Brewers get a pair of runs in the top of the 8th, and they needed it because Devin Williams kind of crashed back down to earth after having a really good stretch of appearances his last 3 weeks or so. He crashed back down to earth. He did not have his control in yesterday's game. Devin actually had 3 walks in this one. He allowed 3 earned runs, 2 hits. Only got 2 outs registered. Luis Perdomo cleaned up the 8th inning with the Brewers still in front by a final of 5-4, which Josh Hader slammed the door on. So, diving into the numbers on this, let's talk about Freddy Peralta first. So, Freddy, he got 7 whiffs on his fastball and 6 on his slider. He threw a ton of sliders in this game, over 40%, or over 30% of his usage, I should say, were sliders. 34% of his pitches were sliders in his 96 total. So, and he was getting some great swings and misses on it. They were definitely fooled on it. Of the 33 sliders he threw, 21 of them were for strikes. That's basically a 2 and 3 rate for him. Not a bad rate for a pitch that gets a ton of swings and misses on it. So Freddie got the slider going in this one. Didn't really need the changeup. He only threw 6 of them in the game. Fastball Freddie, of course, we mentioned the 7 whiffs. And this is a great example of, we talk about Hunter Green having great velocity, and it's a great thing to have velocity. But his fastball is dead straight. The Brewers only swung and missed twice on Hunter Green's fastball, whereas the Reds swung and missed 7 times on Freddie's fastball. It's an example of how big deception and the way you release the baseball and perceived velocity plays in baseball. Look, Bill Schroeder made the point as well on television. 97 and 100 miles an hour, they kind of look the same in the box. But when you got a guy like Freddie who can mix his fastball from 91 up to 97, it looks like he's jumping at you. That's why you see so many more swings and misses on Freddie's fastball as opposed to a bona fide flamethrower in Hunter Green. So also want to make sure we recognize what Hunter Green did growing up before our eyes. He threw more sliders than fastballs in this game. 100 total pitches, 48 sliders, 47 fastballs. He only threw 5 changeups. All 6 of Hunter's strikeouts were on the slider. The slider was on yesterday. He learned how to get the Brewers out, and a big bounce back for him after giving up a home run derby last week at American Family Field. So Hunter Green certainly grew up in the game. One more quick note about this lineup before we get into some of the key plays of this game, especially defensively. 5 through 9 in the Brewers' order. They go 8 for 19 in the game, and they scored all 5 runs for the Brewers in this one and did their job, to say the least, keeping the line moving. The top half of the lineup only had 1 hit. It was Colton Wong. A 4.21 average for the bottom half of the order. They had all 5 runs. They had 3 extra base hits. The home run from Weicho and the 2 doubles from Jace Peterson were the difference in this game for the Brew Crew. So a fun one indeed. Game 1 went to the Reds. This one, a nail-biter. Would you want it any other way for the Brewers? They win by a final of 5-4. Let's talk about these pivotal plays. Before we do that, spring's in the air. I mean, it was warm as heck yesterday. It's going to be warm again today. Right now, it's all about renewal and growth, of course, in springtime, personally and professionally. Your small business is growing, and LinkedIn Jobs is here to make it easier to find the people you want to talk to faster and for free. Look, if you're like me, I've been scouring the job market. I've been down this road on LinkedIn, seeing what's available, what matches you. It's an easy site to use. You can create a free job post in minutes on LinkedIn Jobs. You can add your job to the purple hashtag hiring frame to get it to profile to spread across LinkedIn and find the candidate that you're looking to hire so you can find the right people quicker. It's why small businesses are rating LinkedIn Jobs as number 1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. So right now, LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the candidates that you want to talk to. And did you know every week nearly 40 million job seekers visit LinkedIn? So you can post your job for free at linkedin.com/ Locked On MLB. Again, that's linkedin.com/Locked On MLB, and you can post a job for free. Terms and conditions apply. There were 3 absolutely epic defensive plays in this game, and they all came in the final 3-ish innings of this one. Christian Yelich made a great web gem on Monday. I knocked his defense in Monday's episode, or in Friday's episode, I believe, talking about his poor jumps and plays that he needs to make. He makes a great play on Monday, and then he makes an even better one yesterday on Tuesday. StatCast has a measurement called catch probability. It takes the hang time, the exit velocity, and the starting depth of an outfielder in their starting position, how much distance is needed to cover. Takes that into a formula to tell you what's the percentage of them making the catch. Anything from 0% to 25%, if you make the catch on those, that is a 5-star catch. And Christian Yelich got it done with a 5-star catch on that epic diving play to end the end the bottom of the 7th inning, robbing Matt Reynolds against Brad Boxberger. Another great appearance, by the way, by Brad Boxberger. Catch probability was 25% on the dot. It was his first 5-star catch since 2018. Great play moving to his right. It was hit well off the bat, too, mind you, for Matt Reynolds, who's been a thorn in the Brewers' side. He hit it 104 miles an hour off the bat. And a great read from Christian Yelich. He needed 39 feet. He only covered 36 feet, but the dive covered the rest of it. So he makes a great play. Granted, there was nobody on, and it was a 2-run game. It would have brought the top of the order up, and the tying run would have been aboard, because probably would have been at least a double, likely a triple for Reynolds if that ball gets by Yelich. So an important play, maybe in win probability, not so much, but a heck of a play by Christian Yelich. The next play that was huge, that this doesn't necessarily pop up on the box score, but this is the type of play that you ring that bell for that's in the dugout right now. This is a great baseball play by Tyrone Taylor. So Devin Williams has the inning getting away from him in the top of the 8th inning. And every pitch is like pulling out teeth against Devin Williams, and Tyler Naquin manages to rip a double into right field with the bases loaded in a 3-run game. So the tying run was on first base with the bases loaded and 2 outs in the frame. And they had just pinch ran as well. Colin Moran had drawn a walk against Williams, so they put Albert Almora Jr. in to pinch run for him. The whole thought is, hey, he's the tying run. Let's make sure he scores on a ball to the outfield. And the play that Tyrone Taylor made, it's easy to overlook this play. Moving toward the line, hard to his left, playing right field. He's been playing all over defensively in the outfield for the Brewers. And he makes a sliding stop before the ball reaches the wall as he reaches the warning track. If you're wondering, why is that such a big deal? If that ball reaches the wall, Albert Almora Jr. scores from first. But because Tyrone Taylor managed to get the sliding stop and pop up, you treat it as if a pop-up slide, like you're stealing second base, but you're fielding the baseball in the process, because that's your only chance to make sure that run does not score from first base. And Tyrone Taylor executed it perfectly. We know he's got a great arm. Fires accurately to the cutoff man. They had no choice but holding Albert Almora Jr. at third. So, yes, 2-run score. You go to the bullpen for Luis Perdomo, and then that sets the stage for the epic play by Luis Urías. But just to wrap up the thought on Tyrone Taylor's play, you do not see that in any given day, because maybe you'll notice catchers on a pass ball or a wild pitch, if they feel like they have a play at the plate, they will slide into the baseball and throw it while they're still on the ground because it's faster. The same theory applies with the pop-up slide in the outfield. It's faster to just slide and get the ball in as opposed to fielding it off the wall and get it to your cutoff man. That is a huge, huge play by Tyrone Taylor in yesterday's game that should not be ignored. And it set the stage, like we said, Luis Urías. This had shades of the epic play he made against the Diamondbacks last June, ironically, and also a start by Freddy Peralta. He was still pitching. It was a no-hitter at the time on a little blooper behind second base. He was playing second base in that game, and he was shaded up the middle. And he dove at the last possible moment to his right, makes a play, the wrist kind of uncurls underneath him, and he shows the glove. Willie goes nuts. It was an amazing play for Wicho to make last season. And he makes the mirror image of that play, playing as a shortstop and now diving to his left on a broken bat sinking little bloop liner behind second base. It kind of looked like the Luis Gonzalez bloop, game-winning, World Series-winning base hit in 2001. That was the type of little humpback, little bloop behind second. There's so many words you can describe it. I keep going to blooper. But Huicho, what a play for him. In his first start of the season, by the way, the big league level, as a shortstop, Willy Adames was the designated hitter in this one, and he had a great day. Huicho hit his second homer of the year. He makes a massive, massive defensive play to save this one for the Brew Crew. There's a great, you don't really have catch probability on balls on the infield, but the fact is it would have been a tie game. The go-ahead run would have been aboard, and you would have blown a 5-1 lead in the 8th inning. For him to make that play, and not many shortstops are even able to dive at that ball. Maybe they're playing deeper toward the hole and just giving up everything up the middle. Perfect positioning by the Brewers to have Luis Urías ready for that play. And again, Luis Perdomo thrown into a high leverage situation. Wasn't expected to do that, to say the least. And gets the job done thanks to some defense behind him. We can briefly touch on Devin Williams. I mean, almost every at-bat went at least 6 pitches. I mean, he just wasn't throwing strikes. And another concerning trend is the fact that he's not getting the swings and misses on the changeup this season like he did last season. Obviously, there's a scouting report on him, and everybody knows, hey, lay off the changeup right now. Total pitches, Williams threw 38 pitches, only 18 of them were strikes. And he gave up only his second extra base hit of the season with the double by Naquin. See if he can figure things out, because it's been, 5-6 in a row good, and then a clunker. 5-6 in a row good, and a clunker. We'd like to see a longer stretch, say like 12-13 in a row good, and then a clunker. And it doesn't even need to be 1-2-3, 1-2-3, punch out, punch out, punch out. No, we just want to see him get some consistency out of him this season. We didn't see the cutter at all in this game as well. Only fastballs and changeups. He had no command really with the changeup at all. In total, he threw 17 changeups. Only 6 of them were strikes. But it's not so much about command as much as it is the Reds spitting on it. There were very few swings on it. They only swung at the pitch 4 times out of the 17 he threw. So part of that is maybe it's not appearing like a strike as we're used to. It's not starting in the right arm angle that Devin is used to. Those are the things that the Brewers are going to be looking for. He also did not get a single swing and miss on his fastball in this one. Devin, going to figure things out. We are still only in May. As we get ready to tell you about the accolades for Josh Hader, I want to take one more quick breather to tell you about Built Bar. Look, Built has the amazing lineup available at Built.com. They have so many different flavors. Their Built Bars are covered in 100% real chocolate. And if the protein bar isn't your thing, you can go with these awesome little puffs. They're going to go absolutely crazy for these in your family. You can get churro, banana cream pie. You've got all these cinnamon flavors. It's such a protein bar, but it's like a marshmallow sweet treat. There is so many flavors available in Built Bars. You can compare it to a candy bar. And the macros are absolutely insane. 130 calories, 4 grams of sugar, 4 net carbs, and 17 grams of protein. They got all your favorites at Built.com. Banana cream pie, raspberry, double chocolate, so many more. They're delicious, they're good for you, and they're new flavors all the time. You can see their lineup at Built.com, BUILT.com. Use our promo code LOCKED15 to get 15% off your order. Again, promo code is LOCKED15 for 15% off at Built.com. Josh Hader reached 500 career strikeouts in just 244 games in yesterday's contest. He also makes it a perfect 12 for 12 in save opportunities this year. He is the only pitcher in baseball with double-digit saves and 0 blown saves. Here's his stat line from this season. 0.00 ERA, 11 1/3 innings, just allowed 2 hits, 5 walks, 18 strikeouts. He has faced now 42 batters, and only 7 of them have reached against him. His strikeouts per 9 is down to a shocking 14. Oh my goodness. But 500 strikeouts now for Josh Hader. So he does it in 244 games. That's the fastest as far as games played for a reliever to reach 500 strikeouts. As far as innings pitched, he just missed Aroldis Chapman's record by an inning and 2/3. Chapman did it in 292 innings. Hader, to this point in his career, has thrown 293 and 2/3 innings, so he just barely missed that. Still, he beat Craig Kimbrell, and he also beat Kenley Jansen. So you're watching someone who is on a trajectory to be a Hall of Famer. He is going to be an All-Star again, most likely this year for the 4th time in his career. The accolades, 3-time reliever of the year for the National League. Originally a 19th round pick by the Baltimore Orioles in 2012. I mean, what a sentence that is, right? It's wild to think about that. This dude was traded twice in his career. He was traded to the Astros for Bud Norris in 2013, just fresh into the organization, just barely over a year since he was drafted by the Orioles. Then he was traded, of course, in the Carlos Gomez, Mike Fiers trade in 2015, and the rest is history. Made his debut in 2017 with the Brewers, and he has been lights out dominant in the last few seasons. Just combining 2020 through 2022 right now, in total, Josh Hader has a 1.64 ERA in 88 innings. He has 151 strikeouts in those 88 innings. It's just shy of 2 strikeouts per 9 innings. He's only allowed 16 earned runs in those 88 innings. As we watch Liam Hendriks give up, a grand slam the other night for the White Sox to Josh Naylor, it's just a reminder that he's the best pitcher on the American League side as relievers go. Josh Hader is over here. In his last 2 years, he has got a total of 45 saves. Now, not necessarily is that the most in the National League, but the confidence you have when Josh Hader takes the ball in the regular season, he only had 1 blown save last year. Yes, I know what happened in Game 4 last year. Yes, I know the playoffs haven't been too kind to him. But earlier in his career, he was asked to get multiple outs, facing guys multiple times, knowing the scouting report. 2019 was a tough go of it. He was used a ton in 2018 in the NLCS, mind you. He pitched in 4 of those 7 games. In fact, in Game 7, he threw 3 innings. Don't forget about that. So he has been everything for the Brewers. Enjoy it. He is the best reliever in baseball. It's amazing to watch him pitch every given night. And his numbers tonight, the slider is what was working for him tonight, or last night. He threw a total of 7 sliders. 6 of them were strikes. And the fastball wasn't quite there. Only 9 fastballs and 4 of them were strikes. But he gets back-to-back strikeouts to end the game just how he would want it. And he was very humble after the game, saying, look, it's an honor to be included with those guys. It takes a lot of hard work to get to this point. But the work's not finished. And he is the best closer in baseball. I don't know how many other ways to say it. We're spoiled to watch him. We truly are. And he's going to go down as one of the great ones. And just recognize it in the moment while it's happening. He's still only just 28 years old. He just turned 28 a little less than a month ago. What a story. It's fun to watch Josh Hader pitch. Quick note, today's game is on YouTube. So no Bally Sports Wisconsin today. I get a day off, shocking. It'll be Adrian Hauser getting the ball at 11:35 Central Time against the Reds, against Vladimir Gutierrez. Hauser's 3-2, a 3.42 ERA. Gutierrez 0-5, 8.86 ERA. Brewers going for the rubber match win and trying to improve their record against the Reds to a 5-1 mark so far on the season before they have an off day tomorrow and then head on the road down to Miami to take on their tough pitching staff for 3 games with the Marlins. That'll do it for this episode. My name is Dominic Catronio. Thanks so much for tuning in. I got one eye on the Phoenix Suns game this whole time, so by the time you're listening, you already know the result of this. Bucks are playing later this week. Make sure you check out Locked On Bucks as well. Kane does a great job over there. Again, make sure you subscribe. See us on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter. We'll see you next time. Keep on swinging.
You are Locked On Brewers, your daily Milwaukee Brewers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.